pleasant day to everyone. My name is Beverly Iroa from DSET English 2B. In this video, we will be talking about one of the language policies of the Philippines, which is DECS Order No. 52 of 1987. The questions displayed will be answered by my fellow speakers. But before that, let me first give you a brief overview about the policy that we are going to discuss. DECS Order No. 52 of 1987 is a language policy implemented by the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, or DECS, in the Philippines. It mandates the use of Filipino, the national language, as the medium of instruction in all subjects taught in the elementary and secondary levels, except for subjects that are specifically designated as English subjects. This policy aims to promote the use and development of the Filipino language, while also recognizing the importance of English as an international language. Additionally, this policy encourages the use of local languages as auxiliary media of instruction, particularly in regions where they are widely spoken.
How was the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports Order No. 52 of 1987 language policy being enacted in school? The Department of Education, Culture, Sports Order No. 52 of 1987 says that the implementation of a language policy in schools has been established with the objectives of attaining proficiency in the Filipino and English languages at the national level. This is accomplished through the integration of both languages into the curriculum and using them as primary mediums of instructions across all educational levels. In order to facilitate language acquisition and promote multilingualism, it is recommended that the regional languages be employed as complementary languages in primary and secondary education, especially in grade levels 1 and 2. The aspiration of the Filipino populace towards enhancing their capacity to effectively execute their roles and responsibilities as citizens of the Philippines, as well as to communicate proficiently in English, is aimed at the meeting the demands of the nation in the global society. In order to attain bilingual proficiency, the study of Filipino and English languages should be incorporated as a mandatory subject at all levels of education. The tertiary level institutions are expected to spearhead and facilitate the perpetual intellectualization of the Filipino language. The pursuit of intellectualization, in addition, will be extended to the elementary and secondary level of education. Thank you.
DECS Order No. 52 is a language policy issued by the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports in the Philippines in 1987. The policy states that English shall be used as a medium of instruction for science and mathematics subjects in all public and private schools from grade 3 onwards. The language issues associated with DECS Order No. 52 is a potential impact on the development of Filipino, or the national language of the Philippines, and other regional languages. Critics of the policy argue that the exclusive use of English in science and mathematics instruction could lead to the neglect of Filipino and other languages, as well as the cultural heritage and identity that they embody. In addition, some argue that the policy may create a language divide between those who are proficient in English and those who are not, potentially exacerbating social and economic inequalities. On the other hand, Supporters of the policy argued that English proficiency is important for success in the global economy and that the use of English as a medium of instruction in science and mathematics subjects can help prepare students for higher education and professional careers. Overall, the language issue associated with DECS Order No. 52 reflects broader debates about language policy and education in the Philippines, including questions about the rules of English in the country's multilingual and multicultural society.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the question that I am going to answer today is, how are language issues seen in actual language instruction? So local languages have been marginalized in many education systems, often resulting in a shortage of qualified teachers able to understand, speak, and teach in child's mother tongue. The level of written development of the local languages may raise issues as to their pedagogical suitability. Language planning may be necessary in order to create or modify a language writing system. Standardized spelling usage, and if necessary, expand the lexicon to include any missing vocabulary. Students are unable to receive support from their parents if they also do not understand the language of instruction. So if a child's parents lack familiarity with the language of instruction used in school, this can further reinforce the gap between minority and majority language group. Children studying in an unfamiliar language face a double burden. Not only they must learn new academic concepts and skills, they must do so using words they do not understand. There is also a huge evidence that the use of mother tongue in the initial years of schooling helps reach socially and educationally marginalized population, improving their enrollment, attendance, and achievement. So that's all for my topic. Thank you so much for listening.
The actual language instruction in private schools following the issuance of DECS Order No. 52 would have varied depending on the specific provisions and requirements outlined in the order. Some of the provisions related to language instruction include: first is the use of the national language, Filipino, as the medium of instruction in all subjects from grade 1 to 3 and as a subject in all levels. Second is the use of English as the medium of instruction in all subjects from grade 4 to 6 and as a subject in all levels. The third one is the teaching of a third language such as Spanish, French, German, Mandarin, or Japanese as an elective subject in high school. Fourth one is the inclusion of language proficiency as a requirement for teachers, with teachers teaching Filipino or English required to have a bachelor degree in the language they are teaching, and teachers teaching a third language required to have completed at least 12 units of college level courses in the language. Overall, the main would have been to provide a standardized and comprehensive language education to students in private schools in line with DECS Order No. 52.
I agree with the policy. The policy aims to propagate Filipino as a language of literacy, to cultivate and develop Filipino as a language of scholarly discourse, and to further its development as a national language. The issue whether government should encourage students to learn more and more different languages still remains debatable. Some people claim that learning languages is unnecessary and time wasted, while skeptics hold the belief that studying new languages is the condition for later future, while learning languages brings children lots of benefits. I believe that such a policy should not be made compulsory. On the one hand, the habit of studying new languages has positive effects of students' school life. Thank you.
So, okay, do you agree or disagree with the policy? So, the DECS Order Number 52 was issued in 1987 by the Department of Education, Culture and Sports, or DECS, of the Philippines, which is now known as the Department of Education, or DepEd. The policy aimed to improve the quality of education in the country by strengthening the curriculum and instructional materials used in schools. The main components of the policy included the development of a revised curriculum that was aligned with national educational goals, the provision of updated and appropriate textbooks and instructional materials, the use of learner-centered and participatory teaching methods, and the introduction of teacher training and development programs to support these changes. So, as a student, I cannot take a stance on whether to agree or disagree with the DECS Order Number 52. However, it is important to note that the policy was intended to address long-standing issues in the Philippines education system, such as a lack of resources and outdated teaching methods, and to improve the quality of education for Filipino students. In the years since the policy was implemented, there have been ongoing debates about its effectiveness and impact. Some critics have argued that the changes did not go far enough to address deeper systemic issues in the education system, while others have praised the policy for making important improvements in curriculum, teaching methods, and resources. Ultimately, whether or not to agree or disagree with DECS Order Number 52 is a matter of personal opinion and perspective. It is important to carefully consider the goals and intended outcomes of any education policy and to evaluate its effectiveness based on evidence and data. And that will be all. Thank you.